Shalom, 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 Israel. First off, giving all honor and praises to the Most High and to His Son, Yahushua. Capt. Benaniyah with the Battle Axes coming to you with another first day of the week breakdown. Had a great class yesterday. I always want to start off in the spirit, kind of continuing from that spirit from the Sabbath. Had an even better camp yesterday after another unity camp with brothers from Believers of the Way. We had a great time with Brother Ratazan and Brother Haram. Like we always say, man, there's nothing more beautiful than a brotherhood, nation building, camp building. Like we always say, these are the things that we're commanded to do. Show brotherly love one to another. And I know brothers are putting great precepts on there to show those things. Shalom, Brother Yaakov and family from the Memphis camp, Battle Axes. Shalom, Sister Mary Houston, brothers and sisters tuning in. The name of today's class is Christ the Rock, the Foundation, and a Q&A. We just kind of, like let's say, kind of feed off of that spirit that we had yesterday. First precept I'm going to go to is Psalms chapter 133. Great precept showing the unity that brothers and sisters need to have amongst each other. Like we said, being a part of a camp is also doing what? Practicing a righteous rehearsal. Because who do you think we're going to be amongst, Lord's will? We make it to the wilderness and get up out of this place. Hey, we're going to be in there amongst each other, amongst one another. So we're going to have to learn, like we say, to have unity amongst each other. These things are pivotal for the growth of our nation. Psalms 133 and verse 1. Like I say, brothers is more than welcome to put other precepts on there. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 133 and verse 1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. And that's what you seen when we was out there on the block. We're dwelling together in unity under the rock and foundation on the Christ. And that's a heavy thing. Like we say, even like we always squashing out what Brother Charleston White was saying. He said it's hard to get brothers. Well, he was saying it was easy, but no, it's not. Especially up under one unified understanding, meaning what? Under Christ, the true understanding of the Bible. Those things are hard, man. It's hard putting congregations together, getting brothers and sisters on the one-track mind under the Most High and His Son Yahushua. Because a lot of times we don't like order. You got brothers and sisters trying to assert authority, don't like to be in order. These are some of the things that plagues our community. But when the nation see us out there in order, under unity, with no drug dealings, no smoking, no drinking, no fighting, none of that crap, guess what? That's what put fear on the nations. And we have to understand on how to utilize those things, like we say, to make us better as a nation. And kind of keep feeding off of those things. Like we say, what I was putting in there. I'm going to read this again. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 133 and verse 1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head. So the Most High God is even comparing the unity to the precious ointment that He gave Aaron. It says that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments. It says, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. So the Most High God compares these things to what? As the beard, even as how the dew, meaning what? On a deeper level, the understanding came down from the Most High God to give to the children of Israel, and the literal dew, or the rain, or the water that comes from heaven to just naturally water the earth each and every morning. It's a beautiful thing when we had out there with multiple camps out there, man. Even feeding off the spirit that we had even from the week before, dealing with our brothers from Sakai and other brothers from different camps. That's a beautiful thing, brothers and sisters, man. You just have to kind of open up with that precept. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 18, right quick. Is that what I want? Get that. Like I said, the name of today's class, Christ the Rock, the Foundation. I say this is the foundation that brothers and sisters need to be building upon. You're not building your foundation upon Islam. Like we say, Islam came 600 and some years after Christ. So how could that be the original? I just don't even get it. We understand why Ishmael and Arabs do it, but our people, I mean, come on, man. If you easily pull these things up, you can easily see the history and the origin of Islam. I mean, if it comes after, how can it be the original? It just makes no sense, man. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 18 and verse 31. For who is God save the Lord? Who is a rock save our God? Let me read that again. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 18, verse 31. For who is God save the Lord? Or who is a rock save our God? So we know ultimately, we know this is going into Yahweh Shah. And we're going to pull various precepts to solidify that understanding as well. It says, who is a rock save our God, save our God? Meaning a rock is a good foundation. It's a sturdy foundation. It's strength. Like we said, those things project strength. And like we said, that's what our nation is all about. Shalom, shalom to brothers and sisters that's tuning in on YouTube and brothers and sisters that's tuning in on Facebook. Let's get another precept. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3 and verse 11. Get straight to the point. Let's see who this rock is. And we say we're not beating around the bush because Christianity was taught that they thought it was talking about Peter. That's not who that rock was. They'll say Christianity, they don't have the understanding of the scriptures, man, because they don't keep the Most High God's commandments. Let's see who that rock is. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3 and verse 11. For other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahweh. So you can't lay a foundation. The foundation has already been laid. It's just our job to do what? Build upon that foundation. You build upon that foundation by doing what? Literally putting your brick in. Everyone has an individual brick that they must put in, whether it's sisters doing what? Taking care of the things at the building, cleaning up, serving the brothers food, organizing the food, or whether it's brothers doing what? Going out there to teach, having leaders bringing out class, having soldiers out there reading, going precept upon precept, passing out flyers. This is how you literally put your brick in. Like we say, doing these things for the betterment of the nation. Like we say, it trickles down because when our people start to see those things, then you see it on an even bigger scale and seeing the mission that we're literally trying to accomplish. Right now, it's on a small scale with brothers in individual camps or whether they're big or small. But remember what the goal is. The goal is to take those individual camps and make these things literally into a nation. And that's what the Most High God is going to do through the power of Yahweh Shah. It's literally putting millions upon millions of brothers and sisters together in one mindset, man. That'll be a beautiful thing, man. Jay Ike, I think we talked about that been a couple times before. We already done answered that. Just difference of doctrines. Like we said, it's just difference of doctrines. But now we see why the Most High God literally done did that, because brothers is going off. My question to you is, why you ain't been keeping the commandments? You know, that's my thing. You know, we're going to start playing the games with brothers. You want to come on there and ask questions and so forth and get this understanding, try to get that understanding, but you're not going to get it if you're not keeping the commandments. You know what I'm saying? So that's the point. Like we say, hey, the end is coming. Hey, the gloves is coming off. They coming off, man. So if you ain't been keeping them commandments, man, we're gonna go at it on this round. Let's say the gloves is coming off. Like we say, because it's our job to build on the foundation that Christ had left us. Christ, I know it's a process, but guess what? Even within that process, it's still commandments that you can easily keep. Like we say, even like Deacon Nakar from Sakara, man. Like we say, you got that Israelite starter pack, man. The Israelite starter pack consists of fringes, stop eating pork, growing your beard, not shaving your head bald. Those are some of the easy commandments that brothers and sisters can do immediately. You know, they don't take no effort at all, because guess what? You could get with a brother in the camp more than likely than none, like how we teach our sisters over here to know how to sew. Sister, could you sew these fringes? Or get my wife, babe, can you sew these fringes on this brother's garment? You know, hey, it's easy for you to grow your beard. All you have to do is just not cut it. Go into the barbershop. Hey, don't cut into the natural line of my beard. Don't bald my head like Michael Jordan. Those are some easy commandments that you can do. Then some of the harder ones, which really ain't hard, getting with a body, guess what? Organizing, and guess what? Learning the feast days, learning the new moons. You know, that's where you get into that and start to, guess what? Get these things under control. Yeah, stop eating pork. You know, those are some of the things. That's something easy. That's something easy. You know, so we want to make sure that we're not giving excuses on, you know, not keeping God's commandments when in fact that they're really easy, man. Shalom to brothers and sisters that's now tuning in. Let me turn on the comments. Let's say if any brothers or sisters got any questions, feel free to chime in, put the questions on the board, or add precepts. It says, I'm going to read this again. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 11. For no other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahushua. So Christ has already laid the foundation. It's our job to do what? To build upon those things, man. Brother Yaakov, it was like last week, I can't see all your comments. You know, like it's too big. All praise, like we said, that's some of the things, man. Some of the things, all praises that you are doing. But like we say, now you need to take it a step forward. Try to get with a body. You know, try to get built up, keeping the Sabbath days, keeping the high holy days, keeping Feast of Tabernacles, Day of Atonement, fasting, prayer. That's where you have to take these things to another level. So we know, like we say, that foundation is Christ. Like we say, not built upon Islam, not built upon Christianity. Christianity is white supremacy. Shalom, shalom, the brothers and sisters tuning in. That's white supremacy, man, at its finest. They don't do nothing that the Bible say, man. Like we say, Christianity taught us that Paul was the rock. When it's precepts showing you who the rock is, let's get there. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, man. It's flipped over. Couple of chapters, man. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10. I'm going to start at verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did eat the same spiritual meat, and did drink the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. And it's also letting you know Christ was following them in the wilderness. And this is inclusive. I mean, Salakia, exclusive, because it's saying, moreover, brethren. Guess what? Who is Paul's brethren? The Israelites. When you read over in what? Romans chapter 11, Romans chapter 10. These things are showing you who his brothers are. You can't lump all nations into this, man. Yes, we have mixed multitudes out there, but the Most High God always, guess what? Called the children of Israel. Always called them, man. So we see that that rock that was in the wilderness, that was following the children of Israel, was Christ. And Yahushua, it was not Peter, brothers and sisters. I mean, it's always like that. You know, why be concerned with those things? I'm going to tell you, Brother J.I., it's many brothers that come and go from many different camps. You know, sometimes understanding gets thrown out. Sometimes brothers see things that are out of order in congregations. And guess what? They need a change of spirit, you know. You see this all the time. You see brothers come and go from IUIC, and have brothers from IUIC come over here, and have brothers from leave from us go over there to IUIC. You know, a lot of times it's just built upon the spirit, you know, and how the spirit is taking you out. I know King Ray J says, what precepts would you use if somebody trying to hop in the truth and don't know nothing about? Because dealing with it right now. Well, one of the main things, even like how we say, I know brother brought out a great precept. We tell brothers to get with brothers. You know, that's one of the main things. Let's go to the book of Hebrews right quick. So we'll be in and out, answering questions and going through the what I had prepared for class. This is the book of Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 25. It says, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching. So one of the main things I would suggest to you, is to try to get with a body. Get with a body, get with one of the brews in the body so they can be able to guide you, like you say, level by level in this walk. You know, that's one of the main things. It says, "Come." So should I bring them to class with me? Yeah, most definitely. You know, you should always try to get them to come to class, because a lot of times when you get them to come to class, they can see how it works. And then if they have any questions, you have learned men that can, guess what, answer those questions easily. Because that's what our job is. Our job as leaders to study to give our people answers. Because remember, our people look through the Bible through the eyes of Christianity. You know, so they're not giving our people the full understanding. They're constantly confusing our people, thinking that it's a religion, thinking that Christ is a white man, thinking that Jesus is a white man, thinking that the Bible doesn't teach ethnicity. You know, so we'll be able to break down all those things for that. So that's one of the main things that you should do. Invite them to the class, see if they have any questions, and see how we gather amongst one another, man. All praise, brother Ray number two. Brother Ray number two, all praises, So yeah, most definitely try to get them to come to class. All right, next time y'all come, man. Most definitely, man. So we see that that rock is Christ, man. And guess what? Christ wasn't just talked about in the New Testament. Christ is throughout the whole Bible. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 32. It would say, remember that the Bible is written as a mystery book. It's written in coded messaging. So it's not meant for everybody to understand, man. It's only meant for what? For the Israelites that are keeping God's commandments. And even that's a stipulation for some Israelites. Because you have certain Israelites, they read it, but they don't understand it, because guess what? A lot of times they're not keeping the commandments. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 32 and I'm going to start at verse 2. And it reads, my doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, and as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. So the Most High God, through Moses, letting us know that he was constantly dropping down doctrine. Meaning what? Giving us the understanding of the scriptures. Because we know what doctrine is according to the Bible. Let's get a precept on that. What is doctrine? Bruce could put that thing in there real quick. What's the precept for doctrine? Let's go to the book of Proverbs chapter 4, verse 2. And it reads, for I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not my law. So the doctrine that the Most High God was dropping as the dew and as the rain was what? The law, statutes, and commandments. That's the doctrine that brothers need to be concerned with. Not the doctrine of Christianity, 7 day of wickedness, Jehovah wickedness. These are the things that our people should be learning to, guess what? Have them being profitable according to the Most High God, having them try to make it to the kingdom of heaven. I would say being in Christianity hadn't profited our people nothing, man. What you was saying, I would say, oh, and because my real brother want to learn, and my real friend trying to get into it too, but I wouldn't know where to start. Yeah, you always want to start by giving them our numbers too, You know, you are a new brother yourself, a new sister yourself in this truth, especially with the sisters. We know sisters prophesy, but they're prophesying and just letting people know about the truth. You know, not trying to go deep into the scriptures with a brother. But you have new brothers and new sisters out there letting people know about the truth, and you don't have a good understanding. Always give them the numbers to your leadership, whoever's over communication, or any brother in leadership, so they can literally talk with those brothers and give them a more better word of understanding. You know, Sister Susanna Israel said, why did the Lord allow Noah to put unclean beasts on the ark? They were unclean, and how did it benefit him? Also, can you explain Acts chapter 10, verse 12? And that's a good question, sis. He allowed them. Remember, the Most High God was destroying all of the earth. So he had them put the animals that he deemed to save on there. And within those animals, it was clean and unclean animals, sis. But let's go to that. Let's go to the book of Genesis right quick. Genesis chapter 7. So yeah, he had all types of animals too. Remember, it was two of every animal. So it was obviously unclean animals on there too as well. Remember, the Most High God creates these animals for different purposes on the earth. So just like a pig, we know that the pig is created for what? To be the garbage disposer of the earth. So the pig help cleans up the earth, just like vultures. Certain vultures and certain birds are made to do what? Clean up the planet Earth. You know, it's not necessarily for us to eat, but they have a specific job that they do on the planet. Now, we don't know every specific job of every animal on the planet. You know, we know some of them, but not every single one. Let's go to the book of Genesis. If that answers your question, just real quick. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 7. And I'm going to start at verse 1. And the Lord said unto Noah, come thou and all thy house into the ark. For thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. And that's another precept showing you that Noah was a righteous man. What is righteousness according to the Bible? Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25. Showing you that Noah was keeping God's commandments even from this time. The laws just wasn't given to us during the time of Moses, man. That's a misconception that Christianity do not understand, man. That's what it says. Stop listening to dumb Christians, Kenneth Copeland, what your mama be watching on Sunday TBN. Stop that, man. That's just madness. Now, if brothers are built up in the understanding, you can watch it just to have a few laughs at that thing. But other than that, do not be listening to them for their understanding. And it reads, I get to you, Brother J.I. It says, of verse 2, of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens. So the clean beast, meaning the beast that was made to be what? Offered as a sacrifice. And guess what? Made to be eaten. The Most High God said what? Sevens. It says, the male and his female. And of the beasts that are not clean, by two, the male and his female. So these are the rest of the animals, like we said, that were not clean, that had other purposes on the earth, sis. You know, whether it be for them to clean up the earth. Each one, even like the bees on the planet Earth are used for what? They're used to pollinate the plants so that it enables them to grow. Like we say, ants have a role on this planet Earth. Termites, all these animals, all these insects, from the insects to the birds, to the fishes in the sea, to the animals that's on land. Guess what? All these things, okay, that's fine. All these things have what? A purpose on the planet. You understand that, sis? No, like I said, the way one body has switched up their doctrine and turned it to Christians is an example that you can't trust these counts. That's just one count. Saying this is what brothers do. Brothers say out of all the counts that's doing mighty works out here, they'll pick that one count that's going on to justify them not joining camps. Brother, that's just an excuse. You can't use that because guess what? We not teaching that. IUIC not teaching that. Sakari not teaching that. WFI not teaching that. It's many camps out here that's, guess what, literally doing the work. That's literally giving the correct understanding. BOW, believers of the way, not doing it. They not doing it. So it's many camps out here that are not doing and teaching Christianity. So don't use that as an excuse. And the Most High God, further by this, the Most High God tells you to what? Try the spirit. So you go, whatever particular camp that you listen to, you want to make sure that they're linking up and their spirit is, guess what? Giving the correct understanding of the scriptures. Literally going what? Precept upon precept. You're not literally just taking what they say and then not going to research it. Okay, thanks, sis. I'm glad you reminded me. But just to home in this point from J.I., like we said, you're not literally just taking them at face value. No, you have to go and do your research as well, brother. Making sure the precepts link up properly. You have to do the work too. You just don't want to be force-fed things and just take it for what it is. That's what Christianity is. And thanks, Sister Susanna Israel. Said, yes, I understand. Could you also explain Acts chapter 10? So let's go to Acts chapter 10 because I'm glad Sister asked this because this is another verse that what Christians use to try to justify them eating pork. Oh, well, Cornelius, he had a vision. Now the vision said that we can eat pork. So what Cornelius said, does it supersede what the law in Leviticus says? No, it doesn't. Go to the book of Acts chapter 10. I know, this was at Acts chapter 10, verses 12 through 15. This is the book of Acts chapter 10, verse 12. It says, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts in the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the earth. And there came a voice to him saying, rise, Peter, kill and eat. Verse 14 is the point. Verse 14, it says, but Peter said, not so, my Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. So Peter right here was, guess what? Giving the understanding, no, Lord, if you're telling me to eat something unclean, and no, I have never eaten anything common or unclean. Peter was letting you know that he was doing what? Keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. So not every time when you see in verse 12, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts and of the earth and wild beasts and creeping things and fowls of the earth. Not every time when you see those things that is literally talking about beasts. Remember, beast is given as a similitude for what? For men. And this is one thing that brothers and sisters must understand. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes to prove that point. Not every time you see beast in the Bible does it refers to actual beast. Remember, this was a vision that Peter was given. So guess what? A vision, the Most High God always describes the other nations as what? As beasts. And sometimes our people as beasts when we're what? Not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. It sounds like you're making more excuses, Brother J.I. Just more excuses, all right? Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3 and verse 18. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3 and verse 18. I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that God might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. What makes men beasts on the planet Earth? What makes men beasts on the planet Earth is when we don't follow God's laws, statutes, and commandments. When we're not doing those things, the Most High God compares us to beasts. You know, what? Men living off instinct. We're not living by the order of the Most High God and his laws that he gave us. Like we say, we start to be instinctive people. What separates us is because, well, we have discipline. And even right now, the animals on the planet Earth is in more order than we are because they know to do their jobs. We have a higher intelligence than animals, understand certain things way more better, comprehend way more better. Our ability to speak languages, to communicate one to another. Most High God is knowing that we on a higher level, but when we're not keeping the commandments, he refers to us as beasts. So this is what this is going into with this vision. This vision was showed to him that, guess what? It really was a vision about him going to prophesy to what? To the northern tribe. To go and get our brothers that was in a what? Gentile state of mind. Some of the southern tribe brothers and sisters that was in a what? Gentile state of mind. Or in a Greekish state of mind. Let's go back to the book of Acts chapter 10 and verse 12. I'm going to start at verse 11. I'm going to start at verse 10. This is the book of Acts chapter 10 and verse 10. And he became very hungry and would have eaten. But while they made ready, he fell into a trance. A trance is going into where people would call it today like daydreaming, when you're literally just kind of stuck on certain things, whether it's meditation or whether a thought that came across you and you just kind of ponder upon those things. He says, and he became very hungry and would have eaten. But while they made ready, he fell into a trance and saw heaven open and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners and let down to the earth. So the Most High God was doing what? Showing Peter a vision. All these things that Peter is explaining is a vision that he did not understand, brothers and sisters. That's not for him to just now go and wake up. Oh, the Most High God, hey, now you can go and just eat whatever you want to. No, this is not what this is talking about. Christians will try to lump that like how they do in the book of Matthew, chapter 15, where it told Christ that the scribes and Pharisees said that he couldn't eat with unwashed hands. Then when you read down to verse 10, oh, now it's talking about we can eat whatever we want. We can eat pork. No, we have to understand and keep it in this correct context. Nah, keep them on here. Hell nah, Brother Barakat. Hey, we deal with scoffers. This teaching brothers on how to deal with scoffers too. Even like Brother Rottazan was breaking down. We got to have patience with them, brother. We're going to let these scriptures cut his behind up. He stay in here and get all these paper cuts all he want to. Keep them on alive, because like we always tell brothers and sisters, the scriptures convicts them in their conscience. That's why he's steady doing these things. So each reply that he has, guess what? It's the scriptures that goes to that thing, man. Don't think he ain't over there leaking right now, man. We're going to continue reading. This is the book of Acts, chapter 10 and verse 11. And saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners, and let down to the earth. It says, wherein were all manners of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and the fowls of the air. So the Most High God is seeing and sending Peter this vision. He sees all manner of beasts in the four corners of the earth, making reference to the earth, meaning what? They were everywhere. Ain't Israel as the stars of heaven? Wasn't Israel scattered to all nations under the four corners of the earth? This is what this dream is symbolizing. Verse 13, and there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill and eat. Verse 14, but Peter said, not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. So Peter cleared it up. Hey, I'm not breaking the dietary laws. I'm not eating anything that's common or unclean. Verse 15, and the voice spake unto him again the second time, what God had cleansed, that called thou not common. So what is this that he has cleansed? Let's literally just read on down. Jump down to verse, what do I want? Jump down to verse 28. 28 is the answer to your question, Sister Susanna. Verse 28. Let's see what this common thing is. And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. But God had showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. So this is a vision about unclean men. This is really going into the history of what? The northern and the southern tribe. And guess what? Men of the southern tribe that were in a Gentile state of mind. We always got to add that into there. Because the Most High God was telling them, Peter, yes, it's okay for you to go and teach them now. Remember, it was laws against us, what? Not dealing with the northern tribe no more, because they was what? They was going off bad, sis. So the Most High God was showing Peter a vision, and guess what? Now you can go back and get them, man. It's all right to start teaching them. That's all that this is going into. This is not giving you a law to say that now you can eat whatever the hell you want to. You understand that, Sister Susanna? I'm going to give you another point too. Verse 34. This is the book of Acts, chapter 10, verse 34. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth, I perceive that God is no respecter of persons, but in every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. The word which God sent unto the children of Israel, preaching peace by Yahushua, he is the Lord of all. So this is giving you the understanding that Paul was commanded to, guess what? Go and get the rest of our people from the northern tribes. The rest of our people from the southern tribes that's in a Gentile state of mind. You understand that, Sister Susanna? No, we ain't. You know, we ain't gonna block you out. We just gonna deal with that thing. No, J. Ox said, no excuses, just facts and observation. And that's how I know most people are not in the spirit of the Lord, because all you do is attack. There is not a Holy Spirit. No, we're not attacking you. We're attacking the doctrine that you're coming with. And this is what we tell brothers. It's our job to hold one another accountable. Like we say, a lot of times that's where you have to strengthen your spirit as well, Ock. You know, like we said, by us being men, some things may come off harsh, but you have to look at the meaning behind it. Am I really doing it in a bad spirit, or am I doing it to try to get you to understand the seriousness of it? It's not going to always come like, Brother Jay, please, brother, come gather with us, brother. Please. Hey, we're not dealing with fathers knows best kids out here. Our people are baby's kids out here. How you look like talking to a badass kid? Little Mikey, please stop being disrespectful. Little Mikey, hey, you don't stop playing them games, I'm going to beat your behind, man. Like, we ain't gonna be playing the games out here, man. You got to understand, Christ was an austere man, dealing with some hard-headed baby Israelite kids, man. And guess what? We can't be playing the games and giving excuses. And I say this because you've been coming on here week after week with that same spirit. You think we're going to keep saying, I had compassion on you weeks before? Now, that's why I told you the gloves is coming out, because now you know better. Let's go to the book of Jude, chapter 1. You know better, So now, guess what? Hey, we ain't playing the games, man. We too close to the end, man. Like you say, do you want my rebuke, or do you want Christ and the angels rebuke, man? Come on, man. You better stop playing, This is the book of Jude, chapter 1 and verse 21. Keep yourselves in the love of God, looking for mercy from our Lord Yahushua unto eternal life. And of some have compassion, making a difference. So the Most High God is telling us, brothers and sisters that come with a humble spirit, have compassion on them. Brothers and sisters that don't fully understand the truth and that are new to the truth, yes, we have compassion on them. But it also says what? Making a difference. So when you see brothers and sisters coming with that little low-key scoffing spirit, they understand the truth, but then they trying to find wiggle ways to try to percolate out of the keeping the commandments. No, we ain't going to play them games with them, man. That's why we're going to keep reading. It says, making a difference, verse 23, and others save with fear, pulling them out of the fire. Now, it's telling you, sometimes you're going to have to get on brothers a little harsher to get them to understand the seriousness that the Bible is talking about. That's what we're doing right now. Because each time I'm giving you answers and solutions to your questions, you come with another excuse. Oh, well, what about this? Oh, well, what about this? Those camps that do those things, they are the exception, not the norm, brother. You ain't see hundreds of camps out here just totally teaching Christianity, brother. You may have it two, now three that we have with one body. And we sorry to say that, but it is what it is. So you going to just pick them out of all the plus camps that's out there. You going to harp on those two and those three. No, Ak, you can't do that. You know, we're not going to let you do that on this platform, Ak. All praises, sis. Hold up. Yeah, I'm sending AJJ. Give us some time, huh? Yeah, we ain't gonna block you unless you the same spirit. We ain't blocking nobody. Hey, we take all smoke, man. Brother AJ, now why would you put something? That's probably why I didn't see you come. It's talking about no beast or melanated beings. Brother, do you understand that the Bible compares men to animals? That's the point. But how can you even say that a lion has brown skin? I mean, come on, man. A brown fur, however you want to call it. Don't be coming up in here and being simple though. Come on, man. Like, brothers will deal with you, but don't be simple, man. We understand some of these leaders do try to put themselves up on authority. Those are not the leaders that you should go to. Don't just take that and then use that as an excuse not to join no camp. Well, these brothers over here at this camp don't do that, so why not go and join in? So for every action is a reaction. So yeah, you can't use that as an excuse either. Read between the lines and pay attention to these so-called leaders. We understand that, but not all camps are doing this. You can name maybe two or three, but what about the rest of them? Is that stopping you from joining in? I know, brother Uriah 12 stones, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 2. Ye should not add to the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish off from it. Yeah. So what do you mean by that, brother AJ? No beast or melanated beings. You do understand. That's why I gave you a precept in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3. The Most High God is just comparing men to beasts on a spiritual level. Brother J, I said, no excuses, just facts and observation. And that's how I know most people are not in the spirit of the Lord. Yeah, that's what we just dealt with. Yeah, we ain't gonna block y'all. It says if you are always trying to cut someone that is not in the spirit, that's why we stopped you. You still on here, See, that's what I'm saying. Where the brother can't disagree without being wicked or scoffing. No, no, no. The thing is, it's a difference between not having the understanding and scoffing. We've been out here doing this thing for many, many years. Me, myself, going on 10 years. You don't think we can't see the type of spirits that brothers have on them, where it's really a misunderstanding or you just constantly trying to find an excuse? I literally have been giving you the answers to your questions and you're steady coming with the excuses. Even like how you just did, where you can't see how certain camps are worshiping their leaders as Christ. And like I just gave you the answer, not all camps are doing that. You may have few camps out here. Like I say, those are the exception. That is not the norm. The majority of camps that out here, they're worshiping Yahweh and Yahweh. So you can't use that. Follow those camps. I'm going to tell you what you be doing. You be window shop. A lot of times Israel like controversy. So they not on in classes and on street teachings to literally build up their spirit. No, they looking to see if we're going to cut Esau, looking to see what controversy, looking to see if it's some fights, looking to find faults. And the Most High God is giving your behind up to that type of spirit. That's the point too. All praise to the Most High. Trust you don't want too much carnal. It's smelling like gasoline on these streets. Oh, okay, I missed your course. All praise to the Most High. People in the truth can't force anyone to partake in the spirit. You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't drink. Can't force it to drink. However, Israel to rise up, and we're going to endure through the spirit. I don't know if you're trying to say we. Yeah, it's not our job between family members and people in the right mindset. But it is our job to, guess what, let them know about the truth and to warn them. We can't force it on them. Like I say, that's what we have Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17 on down. All praises. Food corner, but we must think of God while we dine and in love with your women. I'm not understanding what you're saying. Kind of clarify. All praise to the Most High. The holy once. Yeah, I'm not understanding what you're saying now. Yeah, that's right, Dexter. Yeah, it has me medication into it's better than pills. No, no weed at all. I don't know if you done been on her before, but there's plenty of precepts showing you know weed or pills. Brothers shouldn't be doing that. If you get a problem because the medication don't apply, please ask these. Yeah, if you saying yeah, no weed, no drugs. That's what the Most High God said. First Peter chapter 5, verse 8, 7. Be ye sober. I know y'all putting these comments up in there this today. But like I said, I'm not sure if you saying that. Weed, music, vegan, gym, run, random ski. But you better not be trying to promote that. I'm finna go in on your behind. No weed. Oh, here you go. Weed is the third eye of activation. Activation. The Most High God not smoke weed. Like you said, that's why it's plenty. Medication is different from drugs, and brothers and sisters obviously should know the difference. The brothers and sisters will be trying to be slick with that. Oh, and what about medic? No, you know, medication is different, man. And you're not taking medication trying to chase a high. Like you said, if you're doing it in that aspect, hey, you got to cut that out too. But this is the precept we're going to get. This is the book of wisdom of Solomon showing to not be doing drugs. I know Facebook just done cut totally off, man. They on here hating, boy. Damn Esau. This is the book of wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16 and verse 12. For it was neither herb nor mollifying plaster that restored them to health, but thy word, O Lord, which healeth all things. So the Most High God is telling us, you chasing that high, guess what? Get high off the scriptures, man. Get high off of keeping the commandments. Be high off of, guess what? Knowing that you're an Israelite, knowing that the Most High God chose you to be above all people, man. That's the high that you should be chasing, brothers and sisters, man. Here we see. Yeah, no, we not agreeing with that random AC. You know, weed, hey, no. The Bible doesn't subscribe to that. Yeah, go in. You go in all you want to, but we don't do that. That's why a lot of times brothers be broke because you steady buying weed. Hey, mind just altered. Don't you know that the tar of weed sticks to your lungs out. It literally takes your short memory cells away out of your brain out. No, I never see those two compatible with one another. Random AC said, imagine getting high and then knowing the scriptures already. Brother, stop it. The Most High God is going to take that understanding from you out. Then you're going to be out there saying some stuff, trying to think you deep, and people looking at you like you dumb as hell. What the hell is this brother talking about? No, brother, stay away from that weed, man. Hold on, I'm going to get to you, sis. No. King Jerry. I was just finna say that you finish your class, they won't. They questions asked you that too. Sister Susanna Israel, was every nation besides Israel made from the dust of the ground? Is that what those trees in Genesis represents? Yes. To an extent, yes, sis. Let's go get it right quick. So we know the same molecules that we have in our body is found, you can find in the ground. You know, small levels of zinc, copper, gold at a minute level. Phosphorus, all these different things was taken from the earth and us molded into what we have now. It's the book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let him have dominion over the fish, over the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. So we see that. And God blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply. It's the Most High God giving that common law to all races on the planet of the earth to do what? Be fruitful and multiply. So we see that it just wasn't Adam and Eve in the garden, just the only two people. No, it was other people. That's why, like Sister said, Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. A lot of times when you reading these things, brothers and sisters, Genesis and the book of Revelations, there's two of the hardest books of the Bible to interpret. So Genesis chapter 2 a lot of times explains 1. Genesis chapter 3 explains Genesis 2, and so on and so on. Plus, you also have to go what? Precept upon precept. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7 again from the top. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So, yes, the Most High God formed nations out of the dust of the ground, but one thing that he didn't give to the other nations that he gave to us was what? The law, statutes, and commandments. That breath of life that he breathed into Adam was the law, statutes, and commandments. That's what he gave us. That's what he gave Adam, the chosen Adam, to teach to the other people that the Most High God created. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 3. Showing you and proving to you it was those laws that Adam had from the beginning of time. The laws just wasn't established during the time of Moses, brothers and sisters, man. They've been on the planet Earth from the beginning. Let's show you what this breath of life is that the Most High God breathed into Adam. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 3 and verse 5. And gave us a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hand. Meaning what? He crafted and molded Adam. It says, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. And thou leddest him into paradise, meaning what? The Garden of Eden, which thy right hand had planted, going into Christ, because Christ is the right hand of the Most High. Before the earth, before ever the earth came forward, Salakia. Verse 7, and unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed. Letting you know that the Most High God gave Adam the law, statutes, and commandments, and he broke them. What was the law that Adam broke? Listening to his wife. Taking that understanding, taking the doctrines of and the philosophies of the other nations and taking that and learning it. No, the Most High God told him never to eat of those trees, of the fruit of those trees. The fruit of those trees is going into their wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that he learned from those nations, or that Eve learned from those nations and brought back to Adam. It says, which he transgressed, and immediately thou appointest death in him, and in his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, peoples, and kindreds out of every number. So the Most High God made and formed these nations out of the dust, but the only thing that was different was that we got the law, statutes, and commandments. Let's get another precept on the breath of life. Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 24. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath of the power of God, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of God, and the image of his goodness. So we see wisdom ultimately is going into what? The breath of the Most High God, going into what? The law, statutes, and commandments. When you read Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5. You understand that, sis? Sister Samitra Younger. She says, Shalom family, what is our culture on marriage? Meaning, do we have to have paperwork? Let's go to the book of Tobit. Because we did all things in decency and in order. I know we get that from some camps thinking that, but we literally do see this through the scriptures, sis. Let's go to the book of Tobit. You know, and let's just let the scriptures decide. This is the book of Tobit, chapter 7 and verse 13. Then he called his daughter Sarah, and she came to her father, and he took her by the hand and gave her to be wife to Tobias. So this is going into the marriage of Tobias. It's saying, behold, take her after the law of Moses and lead her away to thy father. And he blessed them. So they're, guess what, getting married. Verse 14, and he called Edna his wife and took paper and did write an instrument of covenants and sealed it. So an instrument of covenants is a what? It's papers of agreements. That's what a marriage is. It's an agreement that, guess what? I'm going to be with you. You're going to be with me. So we literally see that in the scriptures, an instrument of covenants. So that's what we will call in battle axes a marriage certificate. Do brothers and sisters understand that? Let's get another one. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 47. So we see that, you know, as brothers and sisters should get legally married. Oh, it's the white man's paper. Negro, what ain't the white man's thing, man? Yeah, I mean, come on. The Bible said that we literally had to go to them in want of all things, brothers and sisters, man. So, I mean, that's clearly one of those things that we go to them with. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 47. Is that what I want? Or 42. I always get that mixed up. 42 and verse 7. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 42 and verse 7. It reads, deliver all things in number and weight, and put all in writing that thou givest out or receivest in. So you have some camps, they don't believe in that. If brothers don't, you know, that's on brothers. You know, we understand where they're coming from on that to a degree. But us at Battle Axes, we see, hey, you prove a sister, y'all decide y'all want to get married, y'all go and have a wedding ceremony. Then in the wedding ceremony, y'all consummate the wedding, get your marriage certificates, and it's sealed. You know, like we always tell brothers and sisters, sex is the completion of the marriage. Sex is the completion. Hey, brother, if you believe that, I'm literally just reading scriptures, brother. Like Brother J. Ike, you could tell, brother don't be studied up. I'm literally just reading scripture. So what is Tobit chapter 7, verse 14 going into? We literally just reading the precepts and bagging it up with another precept. The book of Sirach, chapter 42 and verse 7, deliver all things in number and weight, and put all in writing that thou givest out or receivest in. Like we say, this is like a contract. Even to bring up an example, like we say, when you don't, and that's what it's all about. You know, no matter who has the bigger following, you know, One thing that we can all agree on is that we must keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You know, I know Ox, our brothers from IUIC, they've been established a lot longer than Battle Axes, you know, than most camps that are out here, man. And they, guess what? They out there doing the work, man. So all praise to the Most High God that he's multiplying brothers and sisters to them. Just like with Sakari, just like with WFI, HOI, Sons of Thunder, Battle Axes, Believers of the Way, True Nation, all these many different camps that are out here, man. Children of the Light. You know, it's many camps out here, brothers. So yeah, we don't go back and forth on whose camp is the biggest and whatnot. Nah, we're not doing that. So yeah, that's what we stand on as Sister Sumitra Younger. Sister Susanna, Israel, all praise to the Most High. Thanks, brother. Continue. All praise. No cap, you'll always catch me at IUIC and Dello. I don't know what the last part is. Hey, I don't give a damn where you go, as long as you join in with some camp that's teaching the truth. If all eyes on one thing. Yeah, clarify. I'm not understanding what you mean. Yeah, I doubt I found it. All praise, like we said, we don't care what camp brothers and sisters go to, long as you getting with a camp and being built up in the power and the spirit of Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shah, man. That's the main thing, man. Like we said, we love all our brothers. But yeah, brother Random CIA, I want you to stop smoking that weed. You can do it, man. That's right. Even like brother Uriah 12 Stone that's adding sin to sin. Nah, you gotta put that thing down. That's why we're literally showing you precepts. Let me give you another precept too, because I just seen went back on your comments. And brother J. Ike with brother Josh is irrelevant. I mean, it's a lot of things that's in the scriptures that's mentioned doesn't mean that it's relevant. That's where you have to get your level of discernment built up. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8. Yeah, so we know that the book of Joshua mentions the book of Joshua, but the Most High God has given us all that we need. That's why you don't literally see a book of Joshua in the 1611. You know, you have to discern and be able to make a difference. Because there's all type of books that were out here. It's a book of the wars of all the wars of Canaan. Doesn't mean that you go and find that and use that as justification for your salvation. There's many books out here. We use the book from Babylon to Timbuktu, but we use it on a historical matter. And it must filter through the Bible, you know. A lot of times, like we say, you don't want to get caught up in all those books. And those books are made to take. Yeah. I'm glad that you said that, Random AC. You said, man, you're a man of Jesus Christ. Well, you know damn well there's no account of Christ smoking no weed. And it's our job to be an example and follow his example. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. Be sober. What does it mean to be sober? Meaning physically and more importantly, spiritually. Be sober. Be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may desire. And don't think that Esau is not clever on these things, man. He know how people smoke weed. That's why he's what? Ultimately, they're trying to make those things legal. But guess what? Those things are not going to be still legal at the job. You still got to do what? Take that damn drug test. So that's how what? Your adversary, the devil, walking about seeking whom he may desire. Let me see this done Negro see. Yeah, you can smoke weed, but let me see if that weed going to stop you from getting this job. Esau is very clever on playing on the ignorances of our people. We just read scriptures, We just read. If you don't believe in that, brother J.I., that's fine, brother. But us at the Battle Axe, we believe that, And I just gave you Tobit chapter 7 and what? Sirach chapter 42, verse 7, Brother Random AC, how am I being hard-headed? Barak, Israel, Shalom. Is there 18 nations in the earth in the Bible? And if so, what scripts can I substantiate it? Now, when you go back to the book of Genesis, chapter 10, it's literally giving you the table of nations. It's literally giving you the table of nations. So we see after the flood, the Most High God used Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, to do what? Repopulate the earth. So verse 10 is giving you the generations of the sons of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. So you have verse 2. The book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 2, the sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus. So we see where Japheth was given what they would call Europe. Shem was given what we would call today as the Middle East, and Ham is given what we would call today Africa. But remember, Esau wasn't made during this time, and this is the mix-up that people think that Japheth is the white man. No. Remember, all these three sons were what color? They were all brown people. The only new color that was described in the Bible as being new is Esau in the book of Genesis chapter 25 and verse 23. And the first came out red, meaning before Genesis chapter 25, all the people on the planet Earth that were created were brown people, were melanated people. The original Chinese and Japanese were originally black. The original, Greeks were originally black until Esau came in there in the in the Greek Dark Ages, destroyed them, and then became the Greeks. Remember, that's one of Esau's blessings that they got, to live by the sword, meaning they'll come in your country, take over your country, and then become you. So we know Esau, they claim to be the Egyptians, they the South Africans, they the Greeks, they the Chinese. If you look it up, they every damn body but who the Bible says that they are. So you'll find these tables in the book of Genesis chapter 10, Brother Barak. Stop it, man. Stop, Ock. Stop it with that. See, this is what I'm talking about. Brothers want to be deep, but then you don't want to just take one part of the law, brother. We use the whole Bible, brother. That's why you have to have a good understanding of throughout the scriptures, because it's literally telling you, take it after the law of Moses. Like we say, you will have a bill of divorce, meaning where you can write a bill, but you don't have a bill of marriage. Brother, come on, Ock. Stop it. And like I said, Ock, we understand some brothers don't believe in that because I understand the scriptures, like in the book of 1 Corinthians. So if you don't believe it, that's on you. So you understand that, Brother Barak Israel? Go through the book of Genesis chapter 10. You can also go through the book of 1 Chronicles. It's literally giving you the chronicles of the origins of the nations as well. Those are books that you can go through and look at. But I'm going to tell you, you have to do it with a certain level of understanding of world history as well. You have to be able to do that. Random AC, he asks, you know who the plot man is? Tell us who he is. I don't know who that is, brother. Unless you're not spelling it right. I don't know who that is. I don't see that found in the scriptures. Remember, that's key to class. Our foundation is what? Is Christ. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, boy, I know these battle axe lines, but hey, if we get in here start acting bad, you better watch out, brother. All right, boy, these brothers finna start pulling scriptures from everywhere, man. It says who you know who. Yeah, explain to us who that is. I don't know what you're talking about. I seen you put it up there earlier. Yeah, Jay, you want to make sure you take the whole understanding. So just because, like we say, hey, we see the Apocrypha as part of that. Yes, we understand that. It's the completion of that. That's the understanding. So when you meet a girl, you don't just meet a girl and just automatically have sex with her and now she your wife. No, stop being simple. It's a process that comes with that. You meet a sister, you prove a sister, you decide y'all want to get married. You can get your certificate, have the wedding ceremony. Then in the wedding ceremony, guess what? You go into the wedding chambers, and sex is the completion. You don't start with sex. And that's the understanding that brothers don't have, man. Because 9 times out of 10, you're not congregating. being around like-minded brothers to literally give you the understanding of and the process of that. That's all that we're saying. He's an Israelite who makes astrology videos. He can't be an Israelite doing that because the Most High God tell us, let's get that, man. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. So just because he's an Israelite doesn't mean that, guess what, he's not going off. But the Bible literally tells us not to do that. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18 and verse 10. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or daughter pass through the fire, or that useth divinations, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, a wizard, or a necromancer. For all these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out before you. So you see, the Most High God has us not to be dealing in that manner. You're saying you're looking up your zodiac signs, going into astrology to use it as a way to predict the future or to be deep on some type of level. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for all the heathen are dismayed at them. So the Most High God tells us not to be dismayed at them, where you take them and guess what? Make them idols and make them your gods. Now, given it, we used the moon and the sun for what? To tell and to be able to tell times. That's it. To be able to set up our calendars, to be able to know when our new moons are. Outside of that, that's all that the moon is that purpose for. We're not up there gazing at it. Guess what? Worshiping the moon and the sun and the stars. No, we just use it to tell time, to set up our calendar. You understand that, brother? Brother J.I., your foundation has to be according to the Torah, which is the Most High God. Our foundation is the whole Bible. So let me get this. Do you not believe in the New Testament? Let's get that. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, many are called, but few are chosen. Just because you have people resonating with a certain doctrine doesn't mean that that doctrine is foolproof. Because like we say, the Bible is foolproof. If he's doing things contrary to the Bible, that's going off. We go with the whole Bible. So we take that understanding even from Tobit and apply it to that. We're not excluding that. I literally just gave you the process. Like I say, if they be ignorant, let them be ignorant, man. If you want to follow that, that's on you. But you can't superimpose your understanding on us, on brothers that have a good foundation. You know, and that's the thing. That's what holding fast to what we have been taught. You know, I see these things through the scriptures totally different. And a lot of times when you peel back certain layers, you can see why. A lot of times it's a breakdown of one of four things, like we always say. Brothers not praying enough, not fasting enough, not applying the scriptures enough, and not taking counsel enough. You know, we can always see it's a breakdown of one of those four things. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians. Chapter 13. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 13 and verse 9. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part, meaning what? We know the Bible in part, and we partly bring out scriptures. No one has the full understanding of the scriptures. No one. It says, but when that which is perfect is come, that which is perfect is coming, is going into Christ. Because we know what? Christ is the master teacher. He's the master builder. Then that is in part. Then that was, let me get my other Bible, because I can't read that no more. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 9 again from the top. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, meaning Christ, then that which is in part shall be done away with. So no brother in any camp has the full understanding of the Bible. We won't get that until what? We out there in the wilderness, Lord's will, and Christ has given us the correct breakdowns. Is the new moon the full moon or the dark moon? We'll have that understanding. Can we do this? Can we do that? We'll have that understanding. So now we're just doing the best with what precept upon precepts we can pull. You know, I know you keep pulling that, but we filter that through with that as well. But you can't just dismiss the book of Tobit, because you're trying to say it ain't in Torah. Brother, stop. We take the whole Bible out. Let me get that. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, exactly. Everything we have to do, it has an order to it. Okay, I'll say yes, I believe the so-called New Testament Christ through the spirit of the law of Moses, through the letter of the law. So what would be the point? Even in the Masoretic text, it had the Apocrypha in it, Ox. So, you know, and a lot of things were translated from the Masoretic text. So, shalom, shalom, Ox. Shalom, brothers and sisters that are tuning in. So we take the whole Bible, Ox. You know, we're not cherry picking. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 37. If any man think himself to be a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge that the things that I write unto you are the commandments of the Lord. But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. Wherefore, brethren, covet to prophesy, and forbid not to speak with tongues. Let all things be done decently and in order. So even our beloved brother Paul was saying the things that he wrote, we acknowledge that, guess what? They are the commandments of the Most High God too. We know some brothers don't see it that way. We understand that. That's why we filter these things through the scriptures discernfully, if that's a word that I could use. Like we say, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 9 through 10. Know in part, prophesy in part, brothers and sisters. So you just do the best that you can with the knowledge that you are given. But for brothers that come on and try to make excuses about not joining camps, not wearing your fringes, not doing some part of the law that you can do, no, that's going off. Barak Israel says, according to Obadiah chapter 1, verse 4, do you believe Esau really went to the moon, or could they have made it up to fulfill biblical prophecies? Or am I going against the scripts if I don't believe that they went? Me and the Bruce, we talk about this a lot. We just keep it in this context. We just keep it like, hey, as they put satellites up there in heaven, we just keep it to that degree. Whether or not they done went to the moon or not, we know Esau full of lies. So you just kind of keep it in this context. This is the book of Obadiah. So we know that even with the space station being out there in space, we know they have what you call GPS, global positioning satellites. You know, that's where we have GPS and are able to get directions instantly. So we just kind of keep it in that realm and don't kind of take it out of that. This is the book of Obadiah chapter 1, verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So we see, even during that time when they started to do space exploration, whether they went to the moon or it's just literally talking about them putting their space station in the sky. We know that those things are out there. You know, we just kind of keep it in that realm, Brother Barak. So we knew once they started to do those things, they achieved space to be able to put things in outer space. Then we know it was a slowly start to decline of Esau's empire, you know. So we just kind of keep it in that realm as far as just space stations, not really just, because I mean, like Captain Jerubbaal, I don't give a damn if they went to the moon or not. Yeah, you know, hey, we just want to rule the planet Earth. And we know that the Most High God didn't literally make us, you know, to be on those other planets or whatnot. But we know Esau is always trying to do things to assert what the Most High God has done. But we got to remember to keep ourselves on this on this foundation that the Most High God has set us up, meaning what? Christ. And we know ultimately Christ is what? The word of the Most High. Let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 2. And it reads, my doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. And no, Brother Random AC, this is not talking about the tender weed herb. No. Don't even be trying to interject that into that. The herbs is just going into the vegetations that we ate. Not talking about the vegetations that we smoke, brother. Verse 3. Because I will publish the image, Shalaki, because I will publish the name of the Lord. Ascribe ye greatness unto our God. He is the rock. His work is perfect. We just read that in what? The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, chapter 9, verse 13, verse 10, Salaki. It says, he is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, a God of truth, and without iniquity. Just and right is he. So we know, like we say, precept upon precept, this is talking about who? Yahushua. Christ is that rock. He was even that rock doing what? During the Old Testament. That cloud, that's what Paul was making reference to in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Christ is the master teacher, the master builder that we shall build upon. Let's go back to that 1 Corinthians chapter 3. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 is a heavy chapter. You know, I just covered it a few weeks ago. It's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 10. I'm starting at verse 10. According to the grace of God, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another builded upon. So that's what our job is, to build upon the foundation that was already laid by Christ, his disciples, Brother Paul, and any other brothers and sisters that have been doing this work in the ministry. It says, but let every man take heed how he builded thereon. So you may have brothers trying to, guess what, build Islam on top of what Christ, and it never works. Trying to build Christianity on what Christ built, it never works. You cannot build nothing upon something that's already established. The bricks will be out of line. You build it up so far, then it starts to crumble back down. No, each and every one of these bricks that we put in have to be lined up with Christ. And we can never lose sight of that. Verse 11, for other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Jesus Christ. So you can't put nothing on top of what Christ has already built, man. Let's say we got any other questions in here before we get out. But that's why you have to decipher it through the scriptures. That's the point. You obviously, I'm gonna tell you, when brothers say that, you hadn't reached a level of discernment. Because I can easily discern certain things that's in the scriptures that's not in the scriptures. And if we don't, guess what we do? We have counsel among brethren. You don't have that. You're not literally counseling down with learned men. Hey, giving precepts that you may not have came across yet. We're literally holding one another accountable, you know. That's the point, because guess what? The Most High God gives us a level of discernment. I'm going to read this. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14. But the natural man, meaning what? The sinful man, receiveth not the things that are of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. So the natural man, meaning the brothers that's not dealing in the spirit, a lot of times they don't have a good discernment of the scriptures. They don't know when it's literal or when it's a metaphor. They don't know when it's literal or if it's going into a parable. Even like with going into Christ didn't do no miracles. Oh, that's all literal. But then you got other precepts upon precepts showing you that that thing is literal. I mean, come on, that's how he proved to the world that he was the Son of the Most High God. Because no man could do the things that Christ did, man. I mean, it's just that simple. So you have to build up your level of discernment, brother J.I. You have to build that thing up, man. Any other questions before we get up out of here? And the other question, because I know when I get ready to hit that button, I know a question be popping up, man. So I'm going to be a little patient. Yeah, I know damn Facebook was tripping, man. Yeah, I just told you, sex is the completion. I literally just ran that down to you. So when you meet a wife, you prove her. Like we say, we tell brothers and sisters, like according to Tobit chapter 7, you get a marriage certificate. Because if not, I'll put it to you this point, even in Esau society, like we say, if you don't have certain documents, when, Lord forbid, something happened to you health-wise, who has a say over your body? Does your mom or your wife? A lot of times when you don't have those documents in place, it's the mother or the fathers that tell them, hey, you could take them off life support. But if you have those documents, your wife, hopefully a sister that's in the truth, would be like, no, don't take him off now. You know, hey, the Most High God is going to take him when he's going to take him. They're going to say, who has to say so? Hey, I'm his wife. That's documentation. So like we say, we teach her at Battle Axes according to Tobit chapter 7 and verse 13 on down. Pick a wife, you prove a wife, you get marriage certificates, go to the wedding ceremony. Then sex is the completion of that. You don't lead with sex. So let me ask you, so when you meet a sister, you automatically have sex with her and that's your wife? Come on, man. That's retarded. You know it's obviously a process that goes with that. That's the point. And that's the thing that I'm thinking that you're missing out on. If you don't want to get a certificate, don't get one. That's a level of discernment. I'm literally done broke it down every which way. And you still, that's showing me that you're a natural man, brother. Yeah, but you have to get a level of understanding throughout the scriptures. That's why what? Precept must be on precept. So you literally just going to take that one precept and then just make a whole doctrine out of it instead of what? Getting understanding through other precepts. Come on, man. That's the point, man. As a matter of fact, let's prove it. Let's go to the book of Psalms. So you take levels of precepts. You're not just going to take one. I mean, come on. Now, you can ask as many questions as you want. That's what we're here for. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 104. Through thy precepts, I get understanding. It didn't say through precept, singular. No, precepts, meaning what? Multiple precepts. That's why I went to Tobit 7, 13, and 14. Then went to what? Sirach, chapter 42, verse 7. I'm giving you precepts on those things. Coupled with Exodus, chapter 22, verse 16. All those things go together, and you have to put them in its proper order. Psalms 119, verse 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. So you got to guess what? Rightfully discern the law. No, Barak Israel said, last question, fam. When I fast and pray, can it be a repeated prayer or does it always have to be something different? You could pray. It could be either or, you know. First thing you want to do, you want to make sure that you do gather your thoughts out. You know, gather your thoughts. Let the Most High God know exactly what you're trying to say. Gather your thoughts. Like we said, we have many videos concerning these things. Where's my... Oh, here it is right in front of me. So you want to make sure that you gather that. Even like I said, the Torah is the foundation, not the whole Bible. That's right. So you want to make sure that you're gathering. Then we're going to go to Matthew chapter 6. See if I can find it right quick, though. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 18 and verse 23. Before thou prayest, prepare thyself. Meaning what? Gather your thoughts. Think of the things that you want to ask the Most High God for. Making sure brothers and sisters are not praying for selfish spirits. You can constantly ask the Most High God to do what? Strengthen your spirit. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of those prayers, hey, you need those prayers like that every day. Strengthening your spirit. Guess what? Praying for the destruction of this kingdom. That's something that brothers and sisters should be praying for every day. So you can do them both. It says, before thou prayest, prepare thyself, and be not as one that tempteth the Lord. When you tempt the Lord, you're asking for things you know you don't need. You're praying for things that you know the Most High God is not going to give you. You know, now you playing with the Most High God, man. We're not to be doing that. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 6. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 6. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to the Father, which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Verse 7. But when ye pray, use not vain repetitions. Vain repetitions is going into what? Lord, Father, give me that S550, Lord. Please let me hit the lottery, Lord. Lord, let me hit the lottery. Let me hit the lottery. That's vain repetitions. So you want to make sure that you're not doing and repeating vain repetition, but you want to be repeating, guess what, holy repetitions. You know, like we say, building, ask the Most High God to have you have a spirit to endure in this walk, that he may keep you on a straight way path. Those are some of the things that brothers and sisters need to constantly be praying for. Verse 7, but when ye pray, use not vain repetitions, as the heathen do, for they think that they shall be heard for their much speaking. So we know that the heathen do those things. They praying for all type of wickedness and so forth, and thinking that the Most High God is hearing them out. So yeah, you want to make sure when you do it, you're doing it in the spirit, though. All praise, Sauce One, Mr. 500. Yeah, we say humble down, Brother Jay, before you let them lions in the den. You can't just say the Torah is the whole foundation. The whole Bible is the foundation. So we know that Christ is in the Old Testament, but guess what? That's like you just reading half the book. You know, where do they do that at, man? That's why I have to ask you, did you believe in the New Testament? Because only a fool would just say that. Come on. Wrong on what? Did you understand that, Brother Barak Israel? Is it possible I may be wrong on what? Trying to clarify. No, vineyard worker. It says the entire law and all the demands of the prophets are based on these two commandments. That's right. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart. What is love according to the Bible, Brother Vineyard? Love is the keeping of God's commandments. You know, and that's the main thing that Christians miss out on. On these two laws hang all the law. That's the part that people tend to forget. So those two laws establish the rest of the 613 laws. Do you get that, Brother Vineyard? The battle acts of the Most High, pushing for our people, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans to come back. That's right. And keep all his laws, statutes, and commandments. That's right. No, but you got to read it, Brother Vinny. Don't just read what the parts that sound good to you. Let's read it, since Ak is cherry picking. Let's literally just read what it says. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 22, and verse. I'm gonna start at verse 37. I'm gonna start at verse 36, Brother Vineyard. Master, which is the great commandment in the law? So they was asking him, a lawyer, trying to catch him up. What's the greatest commandment? Let's see what Christ said. Yahweh said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. You quoted, you put in verse 40, but you didn't read it all the way out. This is the key, Brother Vineyard. Verse 40. On these two commandments hang all the law. Now, do you understand what that means? So it means when you love God, you're going to wear your fringes. When you love God, you're going to keep the dietary law. When you love God, you're going to keep Passover. When you love God, you're going to what? Keep the Day of Atonement. That's what that means. On these two hang all the law. That's what love is, because this thing is simple. Because what is love according to the Bible? Let's get it. 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. Let's read it, Brother Vineyard. This is how you get what? Precept upon precept to establish the matter. We ain't going to just take that one verses. Guess what? We're going to go and get some more understanding on that. This is the book of 1 John. This is the book of 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. So what do you think about 1 John chapter 5, verse 3? That precepts with Matthew chapter 22, verse 39 through 40. Oh, well, okay then. So that's literally what you're saying. The Torah is literally just talking about the first 5 books of the law. See, I'm going to tell you, brothers want to be deep and don't even know how to be deep. So you literally just cut your damn self, Brother J. Ike. When you say Torah, you just talking about the first 5 books. It's the Torah and the Tanakh. The Tanakh is going into the prophets. So when you're saying Torah, you literally are just saying the first 5 books of the law.